Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Greg Jones for Engine Builder. Today, we're in Xenia, Ohio, just outside of Columbus, checking out Indy Cylinder Head. These guys do some awesome engine work, as well as manufacturing their own parts, such as cylinder heads, blocks, manifolds, a whole bunch of cool things, specifically for the Hemi engines out there. So I'm really excited to go check out everything that these guys do, again, both on the manufacturing side and the engine building side. So we're gonna go talk to owner Charli Wheatcraft, as well as head engine builder Ken Lazzeri. So let's go check it out and see what's going on at Indy Cylinder Head. Come on.
No shortcuts, no substitutes, no compromises. Great racers and engine builders choose Driven Racing Oil.
All right, guys, so now we are inside Indy Cylinder Head here. I'm joined by owner Charli Wheatcraft. Charli, pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for having us in the shop.
Well, I'm glad you guys could come.
Yeah, you know, we've talked to Ken over the years for a few articles and got to talk to him at PRI last year, and haven't had the chance to meet and talk to you or be here in person. So I'm really excited to see everything
well,
you guys have going on.
we're glad to bring everybody in. So yeah.
So Charli, I understand, you know, you and Chris, correct?
Correct.
Came in as new owners to this business a little while ago.
It's been a few years,
Yeah, but obviously Indy Cylinder Head has been around a while.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Can you give us a little brief history of all that?
So Russ and Fred, which are the brothers, the Flagel brothers, they owned it since, I want to say 1974. At that time, they were just kind of doing reman on older heads and stuff, and then they seen a need, so they went ahead and it developed into a manufacturing company for aftermarket Mopar products.
Right.
So they ran it for quite a few years, and they're getting older and ready to kind of live the rest of their life, I guess you'd say. So I was with Russ several years doing a lot of the vendor stuff, and he just was trying to find it out, as everybody I think does when it's your baby and you're trying to make sure it goes to the right place. And he mentioned it several times, and we just kept saying, oh, you know, no big deal. And it was to a point where he was done. They were ready to do something different. Unfortunately, health reasons kind of shoved that along.
Yeah.
We were also longtime racers that always use Indy products. So it was like, crap, if we don't do something, what's going to happen with the stuff? So my husband's like, hey, you want to buy a manufacturing or a machine shop? And I was like, well, why not? Not that we really knew much about it, but we, you know, like I said, we've used the parts for 30 plus years at that time. So we knew the parts, we knew what they had, and really wanted to carry it on.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we bought it, you know, 2020, January 2020, right before COVID. So then we've had our struggles all along trying to get things going. But I think we should have a handle on this stuff now, and getting products back on the shelf and just updating some stuff. That's what a lot of that.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, you guys do a lot of stuff, specifically on the Mopar and Hemi side of things.
Yes.
And you got a lot of parts that you guys make here, as well as some really cool engines, which, you know, we're going to get into in a little bit.
Right.
But Charli, speaking of the parts, you know, do you want to just kind of walk us around here? We're sort of in the parts side of the business here.
Absolutely. We're on the side that we're selling. So these would be like some of our complete parts. These are just like things that we have on display right now.
Sure.
But as far as like our mod vans, we do it anywhere from the Hemi to the 440 to 360 AMC.
Okay.
We do a lot of that stuff. Like small parts. I mean, people don't even realize, you know, on the tunnel ram, you got to have different options with it. There's so many. That would take up a whole article if I went over just the parts that we have. But we do. We make anywhere from the engine blocks, heads, manifolds, and even some of the smaller parts as far as timing covers. We do Hemi rocker arms. So most parts, except for the complete internals, we do for a Mopar or Hemi. And
now, obviously, some of those bigger parts, you know, it's an advantage that you guys make it. But some of those smaller parts that you just mentioned, like rockers, you know, is that something that was out of necessity?
Out of necessity,
yeah. Okay.
So there wasn't a lot of options out there, and there's still really not a whole lot. And ours, they're older style, but they're still working. So we've kind of updated a little bit of pieces and parts to it to make it a little more sturdier, to last a little longer and stuff. Because you got a lot of moving parts on there. So
absolutely.
You want the longevity of everything. So,
absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, Charli, I'll let you lead the way here into the larger area of the shop here.
Of course, this is like, just some of the retail stuff that we sell.
Yeah.
Of course, gaskets and everything. But this is where you get over to where the good stuff's at, like the manifolds and stuff that we do.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
There are, each manifold, there's so many different options to it. You can be standard, max wedge, a stock block, R block. So there's a lot of different ones, and you really kind of have to know your parts. And valve covers. We do valve covers for all of our stuff. Cast, and we sub out to do some aluminum stuff. So.
Okay.
Then, of course, more manifolds.
Right.
We have manifolds like crazy. So.
And obviously, you guys have a decent, stock here on the shelf. How
we
do
try.
you guys,
We try. It's almost a guessing game, in all honesty, because, like I said, there are so many options for each one. It's like, okay, at one point, for 4 years, this didn't sell, and now all of a sudden everybody's decided, oh, this is what we need. Well, we have one on the shelf. Well, let's get this going and get it up here. So we try to make sure we have a lot of each, but you're still waiting on castings to come from a foundry, and then we machine it. So it's not like we're actually pouring them in-house and we're just machining them in-house. We have foundries that do the other.
Right.
So.
Very good. And where is the foundry out of?
So we have a few of them that we use. We actually have 2 of them in Indiana. There's one locally just right down the road.
Okay.
And then there's some smaller ones that we do use for smaller parts and stuff. But they're pretty close. There's not really any far away, except for one. We have one out in California, but it might be one every 3 years that we use them. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's nice to have a couple different suppliers.
Absolutely. Yep. So,
very cool.
Yeah. You just never know. So.
And I'm seeing a lot of driven boxes. You guys are a driven shop.
We are a driven dealer. We've used like the old green stuff way back in the day, and now this is the one that's has the recipe now, I guess. So that's what we've kind of stuck with, and it works good. It really does. So we actually not just sell it to you guys, but we use it ourselves. So we're a firm believer in it. So
very cool. Excellent. All right, then
we got all the parts from everybody else. So like as far as pretty much anything you need to build your engine, we're gonna have it here.
Sure.
So whether it's the oil pan, headers, we used to keep them on stock. Now TTI is usually who we deal with, and we pretty much just order as you need those.
Okay.
I think a lot of people have gone into doing that, not keeping everything on the shelves as much, but we try to. We try to have some of everything. Like I said, we do AMC, small block, and wedge and Hemi. So there's a lot of parts, and then try to keep all that in there. I don't think our building's big enough, so we try to keep as much as we can.
Yeah. Now, is there a difference in kind of the mentality between what you guys are doing on the manufacturing side and keeping stock going versus what you're getting from other manufacturers?
All of it's aggravating. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I've done a little bit of it. I can appreciate it. It's tough. It's tough.
And I think it's just like everything else that's in cycle, and everybody's to a point where, and I hate to keep saying this, but during COVID, everything was run down. So now everybody's still playing catch up. Well, they also took advantage of the time, as well as we did, to update equipment and get new stuff in. You've got slower time trying to get everything changed over, and then you play hell trying to get caught back up. And I think that's along the line of all manufacturers that are doing any of this stuff. So us included.
Yeah, definitely.
This right here is just stuff that's ready to go out the door.
Right. Okay.
Everything behind those doors and that wall over there is something needs to be done to them. So whether it's the heads, the blocks, or engine builds, machining in the very back. It kind of, the way it's set up is in the very back of the building is where the machining starts, and it works this way to go out the door.
Very cool. And then in terms of some of the parts that you guys will supply, there are certain brands that you guys like to stick to?
We have relationships with certain ones, so we've pretty much stuck with those. And having Mopar, you know, them having Mopar parts. There might be some good ones out there and stuff, but they might not offer something that works with the Mopar products. So.
Yeah, you guys are very specifically focused. Yep.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah, I mean, we do Chevy blowers, so. But there was something.
One outside the one outlier, right?
Yeah, and it's a big seller, so I'm kind of glad they started out, and that was quite a while ago. They started blower stuff, so, and it's really taken off now, so everybody uses it.
All right.
Yeah.
So we can maybe walk over kind of where Ken's
Yeah,
at?
we can do that.
Okay.
Of course, this is, like parts that they're just going to pick, and Indiana does too when we're shipping stuff, but this is just things that most likely they're going to need and she would need. So.
Right.
And this is kind of our staging when we're having engines being built.
Mm-hmm.
So these used to be really full, but it's hard to keep them full now because when we do get them in, everybody's buying them right away, or we've got builds already set up for them. So,
right.
Rods, cranks, all of it's like that. So
Excellent.
this is stuff that they've got staged and ready to go, whether it's a rebuild or a new build.
All
And
right.
then we're here to where all the
assembly.
the good stuff happens, and then Kenny, this is his area, so I will let him take you from there. And if you need help back in that area back here, just let me know. All right.
We'll do. Well, Charli, it was a pleasure.
It's very nice
thank
to meet you.
Looking forward to seeing the rest of the
All
show.
right, I appreciate it.
What if your honing oil provided more precise results in less time on a cleaner surface with less wear on your tools?
Introducing the first premium honing oil formulated specifically for engine builders and professional machinists. Honing Oil 10 from Driven Racing Oil.
This is the best honing oil that I've had. The cylinders are cleaner. They look a lot better. Even when we get ready to assemble it, the cylinders are still clean. I really do like it.
For more information or to order Honing Oil 10 right now, visit drivenracingoil.com.
All right, guys, so now I'm joined by Indy Cylinder Head head engine builder, Ken Lazzeri. Ken, pleasure to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a little while since the PRI show.
Yep.
But glad we can reconnect here.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to show how all this works.
Yeah.
Naturally, these are end results, but we'll take you back in the beginning where it all starts, and this is it'll make its way through the shop.
All right, so Ken, we're here now in the manufacturing part of the business, and obviously you guys had a number of big CNC machines to make some of those parts that we're talking about.
Well, in the Mopar world, even though there's a lot of parts in the aftermarket, they're not really hardcore race parts. So we manufacture everything from the block, heads, intakes, valve covers, accessories, rocker arms to build these engines.
Yeah.
Far superior than the OEM house stuff. It's not all out billet stuff either. It's kind of in the middle.
Okay.
And each machine here has specific operation. Manufacturing, CNC porting, block work, intake manifolds. We'll show you some of these machines.
Yeah, let's look around. Here, Greg Jones. Nice to meet you.
What are you getting to run here?
10-volt IT20.
Which means it's a single 4500 intake for a Hemi with 10-volt intake bolt ladder.
Okay. Keith, how long does that manifold take, kind of start to finish?
Probably 35 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Very cool. And you guys got a number of different CNCs.
We got 3 different CNCs.
Yeah.
They all over here.
Yeah.
This one we do a lot of our Hemi heads on it, or Hemi SRs, or Hemi hypo heads, and then these two do a lot of the CNC porting.
Okay. Are you running this area kind of by yourself, or do you have some other folks helping out?
Some people come in and help out every now and then.
But it's your domain primarily.
Pretty much.
Yeah, very cool.
These are the CNCs. That big one over there is what does the engine blocks.
Okay.
We're still in process on that. But we're getting really, really close on them. So
Yeah.
we're going to take the run time from about 12 hours down to about 6.
Very good.
This is going to be the second off where we're going to finish the block before we take it off of here, and then slide the sleeves in it and send it up to Kenny for the engine build or shipper or whatever it is. So.
Okay. Very good. And how long does a block take to go from, solid piece into what you guys do here?
So the first operation, which is the front and the back, it probably takes about an hour. And then this operation here is probably about 4.5 hours.
Okay.
So
a total of 6 or 7.
So by the time we actually slide the sleeves in and then do the stroke clearance, it's going to be 6.5 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Considering we're at 12 hours.
Yeah, and then how many blocks do you guys get through in a week, a month, a year type of thing?
Right now we're averaging about 25 to 30 blocks a year, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah. So nice. Very cool. And then are they all the exact same, or do you guys do different?
So we do all sorts of combinations. We do Hemis, we do wedges. We got low deck 400s that we do. We do race cam, standard cam. We got another 108 block that you can really stick the horsepower to.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Keith was just talking about how many blocks you guys get through in a year. Do you happen to know kind of the production numbers on some of the other heads and the manifolds that you guys have going on?
We go through pallets of heads, especially our 426 SR Hemi head is now super stock eliminated and legal.
Okay.
So that's a big seller right now.
Yeah.
This is a raw casting.
Yeah.
Here's one that's finished.
Wow.
We bang the seats in.
That's quite the difference, isn't
Yes.
it?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And these machines will run even if we're not here.
Yeah.
They'll continue to run and make product. And then from here it'll go to the seat. The guides will be knocked in, the seats will be knocked in, go over to the Rottler machinery. The seats will be cut and finished.
Yeah. Well, it's neat that Keith is kind of running this thing.
Yes, and Keith also is running. We still have this few machines left in Indy that he goes back and forth. And
Okay.
runs some of them.
Okay.
And we're trying to move everything over here permanently, so we're getting pretty close to that.
Yeah. So now this is more of the finished machining side of it.
This is we do. This is cylinder head detailing. We cut the seats, cut the valve jobs,
Yep.
surfacing.
Yeah.
We make custom guides. This head goes on the shelf ready to be assembled once it's sold with the right valve combination, with the right valve spring combination, and all they'll go together and out the door, or go to us for a build.
Yeah. And how many, do you happen to know kind of the split between what you guys do and just selling the heads versus doing a full build?
Well, we'll always sell more heads than build.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
The building is for it's for R&D purposes. It's to show customers how to make the power out of this stuff.
Right.
Like a guide to follow to build the right combinations.
Right.
But we always will sell more heads and intakes and parts.
Right.
If people want to build their own bracket 440 engine, we just have an 800 horsepower package. We could sell them. If they get bored with that, we can move them up to 1,000. If they get bored with that, we'll move them up again.
Right.
So
People always want more horsepower, right?
Absolutely.
Well, very cool. All right.
Okay. Valves are staged to be assembled.
Okay. What do you guys typically use for valves? Do you probably have a couple different?
Yeah, we use a lot of Manly, a lot of Victory, and so forth.
Okay.
This is small shipping receiving where we ship the engines out or skids of parts and so forth.
Right.
And then we do have a, it's called a normal machine shop area. And actually engine balancing, heavy metal work. We do make our own Hemi rocker arms. So we have investment castings, and then we machine them and bush them and finish them right here.
That's neat.
It's not a top fuel rocker, but it's somewhere in the middle between a street and a full race rocker.
Yeah.
It's got good use.
Now, have you guys been doing a lot of that?
Oh, we've been doing that for over 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I say, you have your high-end rocker and your stock rocker. There wasn't very few choices in the middle. Mm-hmm. The ones that were around disappeared, so that's one of those parts we were forced to make to complete these engines. And then naturally we got
normal shop building equipment, line hone, deck, cylinder hone. These blocks are staged for cam tunnels. Every one of them will get a different cam tunnel, whether it's standard, 55, 60 millimeter. And then they'll be main capped. We have our own do our own main caps and so forth.
Oh, nice.
So, and then from there they'll go in the prep area to be prepped, and then we do assemble our share of engines.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, we got a small taste of it. What you guys got going on right now? Yeah.
Back in the heyday, 2005, 6, 7, 8, we built over 100 engines every year.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
The demand is not that quite anymore, but it's still good.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of specialty stuff.
All right, so now we're coming back into the assembly room.
Yeah.
Nice.
We do the pre-assembly or the final clearance checks in here, and then ultimately the final assembly to finish.
Yeah.
We don't have our dyno facility built here yet. We're still technically starting moving over here from Indy. Mm-hmm. So we use a dyno facility down the street. Cameron, he's real good. It's easy in and out, and we're there at least once a week dyno on an engine.
Sure.
This is a race engine.
Yeah, this thing is
This is
killer.
a 540 cubic inch Predator. It's got an 871 on it. Mm-hmm. Everything is boosted nowadays. Not everything, but everybody wants to index race. Yeah. And you just pulley it till you get the number you want to run. This engine is 1,500 horsepower.
Okay.
And it's only at 8 pounds, so it's just tickling it.
Yeah. Not really having to work too hard for that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. One of our specialties is a street Hemi. We make a 572 street Hemi that only weighs 480 pounds, the entire engine.
Wow.
And a stock Hemi was in the 800s. So it's this is one of them.
Yeah.
It just looks like a full race piece in disguise. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a low compression street engine.
Okay.
But it's going to look the part. And if the customer ever wanted to step up to 2,000 or 3,000 horsepower one day, he's got the foundation.
Yeah. Very cool. Just have to change a few parts out. Yeah.
And we got another one going to get same exact type engine going together right here.
Okay.
570, block that we manufacture.
Nice.
And it'll have a street head on it also. It might have a different intake configuration. You might want to fit under a stock hood, stock suspension. This is a wedge race engine, a 480 cubic inch, popular with a small 250 blower. That engine is probably 1,300 horsepower. That engine's very reliable.
Yeah.
You could run that thing 2 or 3 years before you got to rebuild it. So
nice.
So we like to see that.
That's awesome.
And then just the Hellcat, one of the Mopar crates that we resell, we do a couple little tweaks and away it goes.
Okay. What do you guys kind of tweak on it?
Just we set it up to go in an older car.
Okay.
So it's not going in a new car; it's going in a '70s muscle car.
Yeah.
So we got the correct oiling system on it, the correct mounts, and order the right headers for it and so forth.
Gotcha. So Ken, obviously, you got your hands in a whole bunch of different style Hemis and stuff. Is there a certain combination that you've always liked most, or that you gravitate towards personally?
Well, I have two ways. In the street, I like all aluminum Hemi in the street.
Yeah.
You can't beat an engine that doesn't weighs less than a small block and has the look of a Hemi. Mm-hmm. And then on the race side, we like the wedges. We like around a 540, 572 wedge, our basic heads, and it'll go from NA 900 horsepower and boost it all the way up to 22, 23. Only because you get a lot for your money. Sure. You get a lot of reliability, make laps. That's what it's all about. If an engine can make all the power in the world, but our customers, it's gotta last.
Yeah, for sure. Very good. Well, Ken, let us know if there's anything else about kind of what you do here on the engine side, or just anything else about Indy Cylinder Head in general that we didn't quite cover, but
well, basically, like I'm sure you got to realize that we're a manufacturer first. I mean, we make these parts, and we're here to help the Mopar customer. Period. I mean, they don't have to play second fiddle anymore. We can, you know, we don't have maybe the all-out technology of a GM or a Ford, but we're pretty close, and we can make stand toe-to-toe with almost anybody power-wise.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are the engines getting used by a lot of top race teams and classes.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
It's cool stuff.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, Ken, we really appreciate you showing us around here, and we appreciate Charli giving us her time too. So
they're doing a great job.
It was very cool to see what you guys are doing here. Guys, we appreciate all of you watching this shop tour of Indy Cylinder Head. If you guys do have questions for Charli or for Ken, make sure you guys leave that stuff down in the comments, and we'll pass that on to these guys to get you some answers. You know, also make sure you're checking out everything that they got going on here. As Ken mentioned, there's lots of different parts that they offer, lots of different engine packages that they build too. So make sure you're checking that out. And as always, make sure you're checking out enginebuildermag.com for more great engine content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.